Hello and good evening. I'm very sorry for being 5 minutes late. I do apologize. Um, I would have had a bowl of soup if I'd had time, but I'm not Ina Baxter because Ina Baxter was born to make soup. And I love Ina Baxter, who was a lovely lady who I knew who was a great soup maker. Of course, Baxter's of Fock Harbors in near Elgin in Scotland. So she made the Royal Lobster Bisque and the Royal Game Highland Soup, all the rest of it. So she was a wonderful person. It's a bit warm for soup here today. Yes, well, when you've got a leftover chicken carcass, one makes soup. It doesn't matter. As Ina Baxter says, "I was born to make soup," and her advert was one of the best adverts ever, other than the gin advert for the advert for tea by Lidl or Aldi, whichever one it was, where the old lady goes, "My husband likes tea. He likes this one." That one was, say, £1.98. And he also likes this one. It was £2.98 or whatever it was. She goes, "I don't like tea." And she goes up from under the table, "I like gin." I think that is the best advert that has ever been made, ever. And many people agree with me. I think it's a wonderful advert. And whoever she was a great actress. So I don't know who the lady was. We must find out. I must do some research on that. It could be a good quiz question, couldn't it? Who is the lady in the Aldi little gin advert? It would be a good question. So, hello and good evening to you all, and welcome. Thank you. You're sending love to Lady Min. Well, thank you, Expialidocious. I think Lady Min will say, do you want to send love back to Expialidocious?
Lots of love.
Lots of love, she says. So, yes, there we go. And we've had all sorts of problems today. A French stupid bank machine has swallowed one of the bank cards. So now we have to deal with all the fallout of that. So on top of everything else, we don't have the bank card that was being used as the primary bank card for dealing with every matter. But we will get it fixed. And thank God I signed her up to the NatWest app. And because we can actually fix it all through that. So tomorrow morning I will go through fixing the process because there's no point doing it now because the banks have closed in England. Banks. Now, there's a problem. There's a thing I have a problem with. Banks. The banking system in Britain is fucked. Excuse my French and my awful use of language, but we don't have banks. When I lived in Broadstairs, there wasn't a single bank. They'd all closed every branch. Men here, used to use NatWest in Knightsbridge. I had NatWest. I had Barclays for my business banking in Knightsbridge. Both branches closed. Then men used to go to Sloane Square, closed down. Then she would go to South Kensington, closed down. Do you see a theme developing here? And this is in an urban area. The nearest one was in Kensington by the time we last went. It's ridiculous. But people in rural areas suffer even more. Elderly people who don't use internet banking are being penalized by this disgusting decision of these banks to close their branches. They're also penalizing their staff because they're getting rid of them. They'd rather just have a hole in the wall. Well, we've just experienced the problem of the fucking hole in the wall because the fucking hole in the wall swallowed the fucking card, didn't it? So what a total waste of time. It said, phone this number. I phoned the number. The number said, "Oh, it's after 6 o'clock. We don't answer the number." So your bank card gets swallowed and then you get no card. Well, fabulous. Isn't that wonderful? Especially when you're abroad and you're stranded. If you had no other cards, which some people don't, some people only have one card. What a disgrace. The banking system in across the world, we're not talking just about Britain, America, or France. We are talking globally, has lost the plot. We cannot, we must be able to access people. Not everything can be done through a fucking eye, and nothing can, we can't all do everything through a bloody bank machine. Literally, I went to the cash point, I got some money out, I put the card in to get some more money out, which it normally does, and it went black. It collapsed. The machine collapsed. And I have a receipt for the first thing, and we have now cancelled the card, so there's no more transactions. Nobody is conning us. It wasn't a con. The global banking system is a disgrace, and that we're meant to rely on going to a post office in England just to do a bit of banking. You know, in Broadstairs, all we had left was a building society. I wish I had had a nationwide building society account, because they were very polite people, but they couldn't do anything for me because I wasn't one of their customers. I didn't have an account with them. But I do like Monzo. I think Monzo is a great system. I use that myself, and I think Monzo works very well. This Revolut, I'm told, works very well. I think the challenger banks are the way forward in a way, because, quite frankly, these traditional banks, they don't give a shit about their customers. Barclays Bank, you know, I had a problem with something or other, and they said, you have to sign this document. It's 80 pages, and then we have to have it authorized. So I went to the branch, and they said, no, it has to go to Leicester. I said, okay, well, what do I have to do? So she said, print it out. So I printed it out, 80 pages, and then 80 pages go to Leicester, and she stamps every page. And then they come back to me and said, she stamped them in the wrong place. These people are just stupid. The whole system is kaput. It is a total disgrace. And telephone banking, well, that's just a nightmare. You have to listen to the bloody awful ghastly music, and then you get told, go on the app. That's about all you ever get out of these boring people. So anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore. So let's change the topic. Okay, let's move along. Thank you. No more. Thank you and goodbye. That's what they say. So I'll say thank you and goodbye to that topic. Okay, thank you. Cheers. Okay, right, next topic. You all agree with me. Yes, I'm not surprised, because you all have the same experience. The world of finance is appalling, even if you're super rich, even if you have coots. My father uses a different kind of bank. It's a very traditional bank, and it sends its checks back to you, but you can only go in that bank if you've got a certain thing. And I'm not able to afford to be in that bank, so I can't use that bank. But it's the last private bank in the world, so Coots is not a private bank. Coots is a complete con. It's like Royal Bank of Scotland. So you don't really need Coots. It's a waste of money. So don't bother with that. Right. Okay. Yes. You totally agree with you about the drastic bank service. Well, let's talk about something else. There we are. I think I've not got anybody who has come out in support of the banks. So the banks are a bunch of... I won't say the word, but it begins with W. So you can work that one out for yourself. Bankers are W something. Yeah, that's exactly what they have done to our world. They have decimated our world. Shame on these disgusting people. And the service you get from them is awful. So, no, I'm not very impressed with the service that's been received today, but we will get round that. We always get, as I've always said, I don't do problems. I do solutions. And that is what we all must think about, because we have to think of a way around all of this nonsense in our modern world. The modern world is a horrible place. I know everybody, every generation says it was always better in the old days. Well, it wasn't better in the old days because you didn't have medicine and you didn't have this and you didn't have that. But at the moment, we are going through a period of hell. We have the orange man in charge in America who is completely nuts. He is completely off the record crazy. He's deranged. We've got Keir Starmer, the farmer harmer, and we've got Rachel Reeves, Queen of Thieves, it was stealing from the pensioners. What a nasty bunch of people. And we've got that Zelensky who's deranged. He's a complete self absorbed piece of shit. And then we've got the evil Putin who is crazy. He's like a little doll that Donald Trump decides he likes one day and he doesn't like the other day. You never know whether he likes him. The world is completely nuts. And we need a reset. We need a global reset. It is time for some sense to be brought back. We need a Margaret Thatcher. We need a Ronald Reagan to come together and change the world. But we're not going to get it right away because Farmer Harmer is not going anywhere right now. He doesn't need to because he has a huge majority. And then we've got that nutty Nigel Farage. Well, he's away with the effing fairies. He's completely nuts. He's totally about making profit for himself. He is running not a political party, but a limited company. His limited company makes profit for Nigel Farage. Farage, as in garage. He's not Farage, so don't call him that. He is a disgusting person. So there we go. Anyway, what do I think of Rupert Lowe? I think Rupert Lowe has been very unfairly treated by the Reform Party, i.e. Nigel Farage. I don't agree with the views of Rupert Lowe, obviously. My friends Neil and Christine Hamilton are supporters of him because obviously they've all been having rows with Farage. Farage is a revolting, disgusting man. He's not good for Britain. He doesn't add anything to the debate. All he does is make profit for himself. The Reform Party is a limited company. Wake up and smell the coffee, you stupid people. Honestly, the people out there, they think that they're giving money to a political party. It's not a political party. Richard Tice and Nigel Farage own the shares in a limited company. Every time someone gives 25 quid to join the party, they get the money. This is personal profiteering. It's a disgraceful situation. The Reform Party is not a legitimately registered. It's not a traditionally thing. I'm not going to slander them by saying they're not legitimate because they were elected. Of course, they were elected as MPs, but one of their MPs has been to jail. Lovely guy. And I think Mr. Lowe makes many valid points. So Mr. Lowe is somebody I have a little bit of respect for that. I'd like to speak to Mr. Lowe and have a personal conversation with him. That would be an interesting matter, wouldn't it? So there we go. Anyway, right. I don't know what the lady in the background's trying to do, but are you trying to do something?
Blankets. I'm just putting this on my feet.
Oh, needs something on her feet. The blankets were destroyed last night, so I can't get a blanket right now. So she's okay for now, but we'll plod on. And when necessary, I will go and get a blanket. So there we are. You don't like Richard Tice when he went out to Ukraine with an aid convoy. Yes, there we go. Right, they should all be in jail. Yes, I agree. What do I think of Britain First? Britain First is a disgusting, reprehensible organization. I had my own problems with the British National Party, the EDL, over Gina Miller. I had lots of nasty threats. I had personal protection myself. I was looked after by somebody who believed that I was in danger, and they provided me with bodyguards. It was a very strange state of affairs, and I didn't really like having bodyguards, and I didn't feel I needed them. But they did offer to throw acid in my face, and that wasn't very nice. And of course, that poor lady Katie Piper, who I read about today, of course, she did have acid thrown in her face. And if you get acid thrown, and I wore sunglasses all the time at that time in my life because I was terrified that they'd get my eyes, and I didn't want to lose my eyesight. So it was a genuine threat, and the person who threatened me was sent to jail. Viscount St. David's. He was sent to jail. He offered a reward to kill myself and Gina Miller, and he was locked up, as you know. So he's a nasty, nasty man. And he had a dog called Hitler. He was not a quality person, but I got through it. But these BNP EDL type people, we were always going to have extremists. Extremists exist in all societies. It's just sometimes the extremists rise, like the case with Hitler. Hitler was able to rise because there was a moment after the First World War when Germany was treated badly. So the Germans, when he came along and he said, "Oh, blame the Jew," and that was how it all began. And he didn't like it because they rejected his paintings, so he decided blame the Jew. And poor Jewish people were treated appallingly. And every day I read stories of terrible things of Jewish people and how they died and how they were taken to the concentration camps, and they were 4 or 5 years old and all the rest. And I actually cry. I find it upsets me a lot because I have many Jewish friends. And I have sympathy for the Palestinians. Don't get me wrong. I think there are many Palestinian people who equally deserve support in these modern times. But what Hitler did to those people, and Goebbels and all the rest of them, how could you do that to anybody? And this revolting man who attacked me and Gina Miller, he wanted us. Well, he wanted her. He said, "Send the monkey back to Guyana." To Africa. She was from Guyana, which is in South America. She's not actually African. He couldn't even get the right place. Stupid man. And he is a bigoted, vile man. And I'm glad I have a restraint order against him. I believe it will have expired by now, but I was very lucky. I was given Lady Arbuthnot, the judge, the chief magistrate of London, gave me. She said, "Well, we can give a 1-year restraint order," and she said, "Is that enough?" I said, "No, it is not." I said, "I want more." And she said, "Okay, 5 years." She was fabulous. And Lady Arbuthnot, I salute you. You are a kind, generous lady. And, you helped me and Gina Miller. And Gina Miller's disabled daughter was attacked in a supermarket. There was a firebomb in their garden. And, this is all because of her political views. We are a society where we should be able to have tolerance and decency. And the BNP and Tommy Robinson, what's his real name? That's one of my quiz questions, so I'm not going to give you the name. Not for this. I don't know whether it's on this quiz, but I won't give you the name. But you know who Tommy Robinson's really is. But he's just got out of prison, the little rat, and he's been charged again anyway. He's a monster. And again, He's making money out of all of this. And this is the outrage. They make money out of these stupid, foolish people who they believe they lead up the garden path into believing that the immigrant is evil. All immigrants have taken your job. All this nonsense. It is a complete pack of lies. It's deception. But I experienced the worst of it because, they wanted to throw acid in my face. I had articles written about me by a horrible organization. I can't remember its name. It was run by a man called Gregory Lauder Frost. And they said, "Oh, attack him." They were so vile about me. Oh, they are monsters, these people. That even hoodwinked that silly little politician, that Jacob Rees-Mogg, into giving a speech for them, and he had to apologize for his involvement with them because they are a racist organization who wanted to hang Doreen Lawrence, whose son was murdered by a bunch of racists from a tree. And he allowed them into Parliament. What a stupid man he is. He's a complete Burke. He's a complete fool. He's an idiot. He's absolutely stupid. And he had to apologize for saying, "Oh, I didn't realize who they were." Well, do your research, Jacob. If you're so clever and you're so good on your GB News, shove that up your jumper, you stupid old moron. I had to endure those people attacking me, and I've still got all the articles. Don't worry, they're all there. They're all recorded. You little bunch of racist nutcases. And a boy called Ben Duncan, he was on this Big Brother pretending he was Prince William's friend at St. Andrews, and he wrote this nasty little article for your organization. I can't remember, the Traditional Britain Society. You are another bunch of creeps, so yeah, don't like them. I didn't realize we'd begin by talking about this. So anyway, let's move on to another topic. I'm bored of this topic. That's enough of that. So yeah, the Traditional Britain Society should be closed down. Gregory Lauder Frost, who runs the Traditional Britain Society, who has this little posh daughter who thinks she's terribly grand, and she wrote me a little essay once. He worked for the National Health Service. He was convicted and sent to jail for stealing £100,000 from the National Health Service, and he lives in Pimlico or Belgravia or somewhere. And yeah, he's a convicted criminal, so he's another. Oh, it was down to his mental health. Yeah, but he's Traditional Britain, so surely you shouldn't blame it on your mental health, should you? You should blame it on yourself, you stupid idiot. I am not scared of bullies and nasty, nasty people. I stand up to you. I'm the worst enemy you could ever have because I think like Patricia Highsmith. A fact is not a fact until you've proven it's a fact. I find out the facts and then I come after you, devious pieces of junk. And you, Mr. Traditional Britain Group, Gregory Lauder Frost, you are a fraudster. You're just as bad as Surjit Singh Clare. And I've been on the phone today. Okay, changing the topic. I've been on the phone today with Ron Swanson, who, of course, is involved with the lady called Julia, who thinks she's Madeleine McCann, and obviously he thinks she's Madeleine McCann. Obviously, we disagree. But Surjit, as we talked about last night, is a complete fraudster. And he wished very bad things on my father, who is an elderly gentleman of great repute. Mr. Sinclair was very rude to Min. It was very rude to my friend Falcon, who we've all spoken with him, and we have it all recorded. And Surjit Sinclair, I exposed people like that. And I said to my friend at the Sun, I'm not going to name him because I don't want to drag his name into it because it's not fair to him. This man is a fraud. He's been to prison himself for deception. He represented Maxine Carr, the associate of the Soham child killer, the caretaker who drowned 2 little girls in a bathtub and then went on Sky News thinking he could get away with it as being a nice man who supported everyone. Complete moron. The associate of the horrible, horrible Karen Matthews, who hid the child under the bed thinking she could get a reward. And then, you know, others that he got involved with. An absolute nutcase. And yet again, I have been proven right. I stand for justice, and I want justice for good people. And, you know, I've supported the Menendez brothers for many years. They have now been proven that they should have been paroled in 2016. It is 2025. Let the Menendez brothers out of the prison. It's time, because they should have been paroled. It's a disgrace that the law system didn't work correctly. You know, Mark Alexander, a boy who should be out of prison. If he would admit he was guilty, he would be allowed out. Omar Benguit, another one. Jeremy Bamber, and there was the Jeremy Bamber protest at the weekend. I must speak with the Jeremy Bamber campaign team and find out what happened, but I haven't had a chance. Good people rot, whilst bad people get away with it. And that is a total disgrace. So, yeah, when the law system, justice works well, it's good. Says Maria. Well, yes, but I've just given you a load of examples where it doesn't. And it is wrong that these bad people get away with it. And the good people rot, because there are innocent people rotting in prison who should not be there. Now, obviously, not everybody who's in prison is innocent. I've always said that. I'm you know, Lucy Letby should be left in prison. Lucy Letby is one of the most evil people on the planet. Rosemary West, let her rot in hell. Rosemary West is one of the worst of the lot, but we won't go there too much tonight. I don't want to go down the route of Rosemary West, because every time I think about Rosemary West, I get very bad nightmares. It sets me off. I don't sleep well when I talk about Rosemary West because of what she did. And thank God they pulled the house down. You know, that house of horrors was a true house of horrors. And Rosemary West, when she was informed that Fred West had committed suicide, started laughing because she thought, oh, now I can pin it all on him. Well, she didn't get away with it. Thank the Lord. That woman is so evil. She is a monstrous, evil woman, because she actually thought that him dying would exonerate her. Well, there was plenty of evidence against her, so that's why she was convicted, and that's why she's in prison for the rest of her life. May she rot in hell for what she did to those poor innocent victims, those poor people. And I have nightmares about Rosemary West from time to time. It's somebody, she scares me for some reason. I have this horrible thing about her. She's one of the worst I've ever researched. I don't want to go much further into her case because it truly upsets me what she did to those poor girls, particularly. She lured them in and let him do what he wanted, and then she helped him do even worse. So she is actually what it's like the Menendez. The mother is just as bad as the father, you know, the terrible situation. So there we go. Okay. Right. Don't start me on Lucy Letby, says Trevor.
Oh, no.
No. Well, Lucy Letby, I'm entitled to speak about Lucy Letby. She's a revolting person. She's an absolutely vile person. And if you like Lucy Letby, good for you. But shove that up your jumper. I'm not interested. Okay, I don't want any more of Lucy Letby. I'd already said that. I didn't want to talk anymore. So, Trevor, put a sock in it if you want to start being difficult. I'm not having difficulty. I'll have another whiskey and ginger ale just to cope with your rudeness. Don't be rude to me. I will not have rudeness on my channel. It is my channel and it's my space. So none of this nonsense. Thank you very much. Right, okay. Right. You feel the same about John Wayne Gacy. Yeah, the clown thing. He was another nasty man, but I'm not an expert on that case, so I can't talk extensively on John Wayne Gacy, but obviously that's an American case, but I don't know that much about it. So I'll have to read up on that. I'll put a little note. Okay, I'll put a little note. John Wayne Gacy. I'll have a look. Right. Okay. I know. I like to learn about things. I used to love watching Dominic Dunn's true crime programs on YouTube, but sadly, somebody took them down, so that was the end of that because they were very old programs. The crimes of the rich and famous, and that was how I learned most of the things about Menendez to begin with. And that's what got me interested in Menendez because I enjoyed Dominic's programs. And of course, Dominic's daughter was murdered by a chef. He was Vanity Fair, and I learned about all sorts of weird cases of the rich and famous of America. But sadly, those programs are no longer there, and it's been all taken away from me. So I don't know how you get them again now, but they're not on YouTube anymore. So that's a shame. There we go. Not that I'm not obsessed with true crime, but I'm interested in solving a story. That's why I've always loved, when I was 7 and I sat by the fire once with Margaret Thatcher and I had a whiskey. And my silly phone is ringing. Yes, it's somebody who was very involved with the Marquis of Bath, who's trying to ring me now, and who was involved with a man who was a spy, allegedly. She's trying to ring me, anyway, I won't be answering the phone, but the Marquis needed a bath, to be honest. That's how I always felt about him. He smelt dreadful. But he was a nice man in many ways, but he was very mean with wine. You'd take him a good bottle of wine, and at Longley, you'd be served the disgusting wine from 5 years ago. He was very, very stingy. He was very, very eccentric, and he had these wifelets. He had about 75 of them, and that's one of them. Anyway, she's been trying to phone me right now. Very odd. But somebody we know has died, and he was very eccentric, and he was a spy. He was always brought in on Sky News as the spying expert. Anyway, he's died. But anyway, that's another story. So let's leave it at that. I should have turned my phone completely off, but I didn't. I forgot. I'm totally useless with technology, as you all know. Have I caught up with the death cap murderer in Australia? I've been following that case to an extent. I think that the woman, because she's not a lady, because she's tried to kill people, I believe. She's not a nice person, is she? She served her own food on a different plate. I haven't followed that case in huge detail because obviously I was more interested in Virginia and Roberts, who as an Australian case, because obviously Virginia was more relevant to Ghislaine. So I don't know much about that, but I did have some friends who went to Scotland and they all ate a load of mushrooms and all of their intestines got completely destroyed. They all survived, luckily, but you have to be very careful with eating mushrooms. You must not go into the woods foraging, looking for mushrooms. Up down here, we have a friend, Vincent. He's a lovely man in the God for an A, and he goes foraging in the woods. But he seems to know what he's doing. But I've never actually been given any of his mushrooms, so maybe I should perhaps keep away from them. Might be a good idea. Better off getting some mushrooms from the supermarket, I think, on this occasion. So there we are. I don't know. I don't know the story. I don't know too much on the story of the mushrooms. Right. Okay. Right. Carl Bridgewater. I don't know anything about the Carl Bridgewater case. I cannot answer any questions. You can't believe that the Labour MP Cyril Smith got away. He wasn't Labour. He was Liberal Democrat. Cyril Smith was a Liberal, but he was a truly revolting, evil man. I totally agree with you. I know an awful lot about his case, so there we go. Right. Anne of Cleavers is talking about something that's scared her. Hello to Cult Television from Toronto. Hello, my good friend from Toronto. I missed your company. I thank you for your message. I haven't responded. I do apologize, but we have been rather busy with lots of issues. So I should have replied to your message, but I didn't. Right. Okay. You don't like clowns. Okay, says Blue Nomad. Yes. Well, that's all to do with that particular case in America. I have watched a film about it. I don't know what's true and what isn't. I'm not an expert on that case. I can't analyze too much because I know that the man was a monster and he'd lure people into his house and and all the rest. But I can't tell you any dates. I don't know any information. But he was not very, well. Obviously, he was an evil bastard. But I can't really answer the questions on a case that I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on that case, so I think it's best I decline to comment any further on that case. Can you talk about the Ocean Gate story? Are we talking about the Titanic submersible? I don't know what the Ocean Gate rush story is, to be honest. But yes, you're saying the Titanic submersible. Well, I think that those people were misled. These rich people were misled into going on a vessel that was unfit to go to that depth. And I don't think people should be going to visit a graveyard. You know, it is not correct to go harassing the dead. I don't think it was right that they went there. A lady I know, I won't name her because, I'm not dragging her into this particular saga. She was involved in the Ballard expedition, which found the Titanic. The Titanic, I've got notes galore on the Titanic. My notebook is here. I can talk about the Titanic till the cows come home. I know a lot about the Titanic, but my friend was involved in the Ballard expedition, which found the Titanic. Now, why did these people need to go and visit it? They didn't need to go, and it was a very stupid thing to do, to go in that tiny little thing that was, quite frankly, weird. It blew up and it was a disaster, but they shouldn't have gone in that thing, should they? I don't think it was a good idea to go in that thing. That's what I shall say to you. Rich people have stupid ideas and they get carried away and they decided to go down there in that thing, which wasn't a good idea, was it? So they were rather stupid. I don't know if I've got my page of notes about the Titanic, but let's try and I don't think I've got anything on that thing particularly. Um, my notebook is like this. It's finding anything. It's impossible. I don't know when I wrote the notes, but there was a bar in a nearby town, Saint-Tropez, and we sit and look at a model of the Titanic, but right. Right. Okay. Well, it was. There is the AJ Coleman who's saying the Titanic was already alight before it sailed. There is the theory that it was on fire when it was in Southampton. I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know. I have no idea. There are many points about the Titanic. Maybe I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to find my page on the Titanic. It was also in fire in one of the bunkers. I think you mean the something else. Right. Okay. Well, the Titanic. I'm struggling to find my page, so maybe it's not in this book. I don't know. I'm not sure. You do ask me questions, and I have to try and find my way through what I've got. But I can't remember when we talked about the Titanic. It would have been on the 113th anniversary of its sinking. So, no, it's not in this book. It's on a piece of paper, and unfortunately, I don't have the piece of paper, so I can't answer your questions on that. So, right, okay. Next question. Let's talk about something else. I think we move on from the Titanic for tonight. I'll have a look at my notes, and we can come back to that. What do I think of Jack the Ripper? Well, I don't think it'll ever be solved. I think Patricia Cornwell talks a load of old rot. It wasn't Walter Sickert. I don't think it was many of the others that were mentioned. There was even a woman accused of being Jack the Ripper. There's a whole load of them. It's a total mixture. It's like talking about the Krays. It's boring because it's old news. Move on. Let's talk about something that we can actually deal with now. I don't think it's interesting, personally. Not very interesting. I've said this to Sean Atwood. Why do you keep having all these guests who talk about the Greys? Okay, it's good for his channel. It makes him money. But they don't add anything new to the narrative. They're boring. My friend who I won't name, he knew these people. I knew Charlie Richardson. I met Mad Frankie Fraser. I've met John McVicar. I've met all of these characters. So what? I don't go on about it. I don't need to talk about it anymore. I'm not going to sit there for an hour and talk about it because I don't think it's a relevant thing to do. I think enough has been said about all of these people, and enough is enough. It is time to move on and talk about something relevant. It's like with Madeleine McCann. Let's shut down the Madeleine McCann narrative. Let's talk about other missing children. There are so many other children that have gone missing since Madeleine McCann. Let's get them found. Find the people who are alive. Solve the crime that can be solved. Stop banging on about a load of old bollocks. It's a complete load of old bollocks. And I don't care if I use offensive words tonight because I'm pissed off about all of this. I've had enough of all this rubbish. It's time to say enough is enough. Yeah, I think even the Krays are bored of it, says AJ Coleman. Well, they're not around to deal with it, and they were both a little bit AC/DC, let's be honest. There we are. Julia is not Maddie. I totally agree with you. And enough of Savile. Well, let's talk about the people who are alive who we can prosecute, who are abusers, let's get them prosecuted whilst they're alive. It was good that Rolf Harris was dealt with, but let's get some other ones dealt with. Gary Glitter, well, he was dealt with, but, he's got his great friend Jim Davidson. All of that. Yeah, let's phone Bishop. Yeah, Bishop. Yeah, Bishop. Good old Bishop. Another one, but Bishop was very polite to me, so I'm not going to be nasty about Bishop. Right, okay. Right, some more questions from you, please. We've got quite a few of you here. And then we'll do a quiz. Yes, I've got lots of quizzes. The ex-newsreader Hugh Edwards. Well, he wasn't a very nice man, was he, either? Hugh Edwards? What a disgrace. Should have been dealt with. What do I think of the ban on vaping? Well, I think it's a good idea to ban this horrible vaping nonsense. It's a load of rubbish. Get rid of it. Who's the most intellectual individual I've ever met? Intellectual, the brightest person I've ever met. Probably Bill Gates. Yeah, I think he's very bright, and he's a genius. Okay, he changed technology, so there you go. And he made himself a billionaire out of it. I don't know. I've probably met other people who are very, very bright intellectually. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Did I ever meet Spike Milligan? No, but I've got a book about Spike Milligan on the coffee table here. He wasn't a very nice man from what I've read from the book. I didn't like the book. I found it very upsetting, the book, actually. He seemed to fall out with lots of people and was very malicious, so I was left a very sour taste about Spike Milligan. Wouldn't you agree? Spike Milligan. I say he was not very nice. She's falling asleep, so anyway, there we go. Did I ever meet Steve Jobs? No, I never met Steve Jobs, no. So, unfortunately, no, but he was a genius as well. I do think that the other man, the British guy, who forget his name, he was a great innovator. Well done to him. And he's done very well. Did I meet the guy from Supermarket Sweep? No, never met him, but I know who you mean. But I never met him. Nope. Spike Milligan was a very funny, but like a lot of brilliant people, he was not a nice guy. Well, the book I've got the book right here. I'm going to read it because I'm going to prove I'm not a liar. The book is here. Read the book. Spike by Norma Farms. So if you want to read the book, it's called Spike. I've read bits of the book, and well, I found the book a little depressing, to be honest. I didn't enjoy the book, so I didn't read all of it. It's not my kind of book because he comes across as a very vicious kind of man, and her way of writing is not appealing either. It was a book that was left in the house by some Airbnb guests, or it was left by somebody. I don't know where it came from because it was not a book of my choosing. And here it is. So there we are. Anyway, I don't really want to read more of it. I prefer to read books about fun things and good people. If any of you want to send me any books, I need some books. It would be very nice to get some books. So if any of you want to send me books, because you all used to send me books, it would be a great pleasure to have some books. So if you have any books that you don't want anymore, I would love some books that are in English, because obviously the books down here are all in French. I can't buy books in the local shop, but obviously I could buy books online, but it's all a bit of a hassle. But if you want to send me any books, you're very welcome to send me a book. Some of you have sent me lovely books in the past to PJs and to the Magnet and all the rest. So if you'd like to send me any books, actually, I would love some good books to read. And I think Lady Min would like a good book to read too, because we've exhausted all our books whilst we've been here. But anyway, we've got friends coming to visit soon, and they're going to bring books, I hope. So I'll ask them to bring some books. But if any of you have a book that you don't need anymore, you're very welcome to post it to me. So if you are available to do that, my email is editorial@thesteepletimes.com. So I like biographies, I like political, I like that kind of thing. I don't want any books on Spike Milligan, that's for sure. Let's see. We do need some more mini cheddars as well. Yes, of course we need mini cheddars. I've got plenty of Yorkshire tea. We're still surviving on our Yorkshire tea, and everybody loves the Yorkshire tea. And Vive la Yorkshire, says the gardener most mornings. But then he wants a beer. So yeah, that's his next thing. He'd rather have a whiskey, to be honest. He'd like whiskey in the tea, probably. That's probably the best solution. Anyway, there we are. So have I met Sharon Osbourne? Yes, of course I met Sharon Osbourne. She's a lovely lady. Absolutely delightful. A bit wacky, but wonderful. Very nice. Much nicer than Gloria Hunniford and Anthea Turner and all that trash. So yeah, I like Sharon Osbourne. She's got a bit of spirit. She's a lovely, lovely lady and absolutely delightful. Right. Have I ever come across Edmund Hillary? No, well, no, I haven't. No. Is there a library? No, not that I'm aware of. I don't know. Haven't found one. I don't know where one would be, but I haven't seen one. So no, that's not that. Do I like reading books on the Kindle? No, I like real books. I like a good old physical book, like that. If I want to read a book, I read a book. If I want to read the internet, well, if I want to read something on the internet, I go on the internet, do a bit of research. But if I want to read for pleasure, I read a book. I will not read on a Kindle. No, I don't like those things. Horrible. Not for me. You can hear the seagulls probably in the background. They're making a racket. I don't know what's happening with my little fledgling. I've got a little new one. And maybe you can come up with a name. We've got Penelope and Keith, the parents of they're not the parents of this particular one, but the male and the female. And then we've got the little one that I'm feeding dog food to now. So I need a name. So maybe you, the viewers, can come up with a name. I need a name for it because we've got Penelope and Keith. So come up with a name for my little fledgling. I'm going to show you a photograph. Let me show you a photograph if I can work out how to do this, because I'm so stupid with technology. Here's the little creature. I've been feeding it for the last couple of days. There it is. Here's my new little friend. Right. So this little thing, I've rescued it because the big seagulls are trying to kill it. They are trying to massacre it because it fell out of its nest and it's hiding in our neighbor's garden under a garden seat. And I've given it lots of meat and mush and milk and water and bits of bread and all the rest of it. And we need a name for it, but it needs to be a name that's funny. It's not going to be Peony, no. I think that's not very exciting. It's not Jeffrey. We don't know if it's male or female yet. I can't tell because it could be a male. I think it's probably male. But we've got Penelope and we've got Keith, so we've got Penelope and Keith. So we need another. I suppose I could call it Felicity to go, but I don't know if it's male or female, you see. So who's Keith named after? Well, Penelope and Keith. Penelope Keith. We just named them both together because Penelope Keith is a very famous lady in England, The Good Life, and it's the 50th anniversary of The Good Life, so that's why we named it. So I don't know. It's right. You want to call it Richard or Lionel, but we don't know if it's male or female, so don't call it Starmer. No, that's not very nice. John Clifford, I think your suggestion is very silly because that wouldn't be kind to it, because that would give it a short life, because he may be over soon. Call it Sue. I don't know why I want to call it Sue, but call it Bumba. Anyway, we're feeding it, and I'll have to go and check on it very soon anyway. So that's before it gets dark, I must check on it. Sammy the Seagull, call it Bluebell. I don't know. Anyway, your suggestions, call it Mini Cheddar. Yeah, okay, we'll call it Mini Cheddar. Yeah, why not? Mini Cheddar. Hello? We'll call the Seagull Mini Cheddar because we like Mini Cheddars. It's now named Mini Cheddar. That was the best suggestion, I think. Yeah, or call it Margaret Thatcher. Okay, it can be called Thatcher. Okay, Thatcher or Mini Cheddar. So, okay, right. Okay, which one is a bit more popular? Okay, we've got two names that I think are good. Thatcher or Mini Cheddar. Which one are you voting for? Joanna Hennessy doesn't like Thatcher. No, are we having Thatcher or Mini Cheddar? You like to call it Maggie Cheddar. Okay. Right. You all want to call it, well, some of you want to call it Thatcher. Mini Thatcher. Okay, we'll have Mini Thatcher. Okay, Miss Marple gets it. Miss Marple is a great quizzer of ours, wins all the quizzes. It's going to be called Mini Thatcher. So, hello? Its name is now Mini Thatcher. So it's a mixture of Min and Mini and Cheddar and Thatcher. So the little fledgling is called Mini Thatcher. So that's its new name. Okay, thank you for a good suggestion. We've merged all the words together and we've got the name of the bird. It's called Mini Thatcher. So there we are. Okay. Right. Anyway, I hope it's still there. It's been given some dog food because the RSPCA say feed it dog food. It's had milk, it's had ham, it's had bread with milk, and everything is with milk because it likes mush. It's had San Pellegrino because only the best water will do for our seagull. We're going to look after this poor little bird, but it's being attacked by all these nasty other big birds. So, and the horrible German neighbor said, "Let it die," and I was not happy with her. She was not nice. Anyway, the horrible cat won't get near it because I've sprayed the cat spray everywhere because the cat spray is the cat's killing all the plants in the garden as well. So we've saved our little creature and we're looking after it. So anyway, we hope it's going to do well tonight. The horrible German lady, yep, she's a horrible woman. Some of these people are very nasty down here. They just don't have any care for nature. But we had a lovely lady who came round and she said, "Oh, I'll bring some more food myself in the morning." And I said, "Well, you don't need to because we've got food." Well, anyway, we've got the cat food, the dog food. Sorry, the mush. I'll give it a bit more mush in a little while. But hopefully it'll just sleep for the night and gradually it will grow and it'll be able to fly because it can't fly at the moment. That's the problem. So I look after animals. I don't like cruelty. I've grown up in rural life. You can't look after everything forever, but this poor thing has fallen off the roof and it's been neglected by its parents. So it comes back to me. It thinks I'm its mother. Let's be honest. It thinks I'm its father. So, well, I've got to look after it, haven't I? But, that's what you do. But I don't touch it. You never touch these animals. If this ever happens to you and you find a bird, don't touch it because then the other birds get aggressive. So you mustn't touch the bird. Never, ever go too close. Don't touch. Because the human hand makes it want to die. There was a wonderful article in the Telegraph about a lady who worked, I think I've talked about this already, and she worked for William Hague, and she was a special SPAD or whatever you call it. And she, in the lockdown, found a leveret, and the leveret 4 hours later was still there, and the crows were coming at it, and so she took it home, and the minute she took it home, well, they couldn't leave her. She had to feed it and she had to look after it forever. But this bird, I've put it in this little space and it's safe. And that's what matters. So there we go. Miss Marple's talking about Helen Lederer. Helen Lederer is a great friend of mine. I love her. She was on Saturday Live at the weekend. Such a lovely lady. Helen is a fabulous bit of fun. She was an Absolutely Fabulous also. Absolutely. Yep. There we go. So Helen Leverett. Yes. Right. Anyway, let's do a quiz. I think it's time to do a quiz. We've done 1 hour. So I think now's the time for a quiz. 1 hour of this program. Now, please excuse me if this is a quiz you've already done, because some of the quizzes got mixed up when I was expecting guests at the weekend. So if this quiz is one we've done before, tell me and we'll stop doing it. Okay. But we'll begin with this quiz. Okay, which champagne brand returned to sponsoring Formula One in 2025? Right, okay, well, it's not Bollinger. The Desolate one gets the point. Well done to Desolate. Desolate gets the point. Desolate. It is Moet Chandon and Chandon. Spraying on the podium, Moet first involved in 1950 or something. I think Juan Manuel Fangio, Jackie Stewart, 1969. Last 4 years, sparkling wine was sprayed instead by Ferrari Trento. So there we are. They didn't actually have champagne sprayed for the last 4 years. Okay, what is the size in square miles of Cornwall's Roseland Peninsula? What is the size in square miles? It's not 1,450, but you're close. So if nobody else gets close, I'll accept Miss Mop. But let's see. Let's see if we get... You're close, but it's not 2 million. It's not 1,460. It's not 2,000. It's not 1,800. It's not 1,512. You think you've had these questions before? Oh. Well, we can try these questions, and then we'll try... Miss Marple can have the point. She's close. We'll go through these questions, but then we'll move on and we'll do another quiz, okay? If you believe that this quiz is one you've had before, it's just... Okay, it's just some of the pieces of paper have got mixed up because we had visitors, and well, I tend to put a tick through them, but unfortunately I didn't. In which year did Pompeii come under fire from Mount Vesuvius? No, 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 no. Audrey gets it. 79. Audrey gets it. Audrey. So a point to Audrey on that one. Right. In an outfit by which wag did the Princess of Wales present the Queen Elizabeth II Award for design to Liverpool-born designer Patrick McDowell in May 2025? The winner is Joyce Grove with 1 point. There we are. So Joyce gets that point. Right. Of course, it was Victoria Beckham. What was the birth name of Mark Twain? His birth name. What was his birth name? I need the full name. He was born on the 30th of November, 1835. Many pseudonyms. He lived to 74. He was the son of an unsuccessful lawyer. Right, Samuel Clemens. Well done to Teresa. Well done to Teresa. Teresa gets the point. Teresa, yeah, Teresa. Oh gosh, it all goes so quickly, all of this. Teresa Kerr, right, okay. You get the point. Okay, 1 point to you. So we've only got everybody on 1 point at the moment. Yes, he was born, he was the son of an unsuccessful lawyer. He was a downbeat man. He was a poker-faced delivery, he was known for. He was a wild man in every way except sex, according to biographer Ron Chernow. So there we are. He was a wild man in every way other than sex. Ooh, he sounds like a bit of trouble, doesn't he? Okay, in which year did Jimmy Carter become president of the USA? Jimmy Carter. He was the president until 1981. He was the 39th president. But what year did he become president? No. Expialidocious gets the point. Well done to you. Of course, it was 1977. With which sport is Georgina Bloomberg associated? It's not rugby. Miss Marple gets it. Miss Marple gets a second point, which takes Miss Marple into the lead. Of course, it's horse riding. So well done to equestrianism, horse riding. Well done to her. Okay, in which year was the photomaton invented in New York by Siberian, making photography more accessible to the public? No. None of you get it right. Audrey gets it right. So Audrey's joint first, 1925. Right. By the end of World War II, there were 30,000 booths in the UK, and people said the beauty of the booth. Approximately how many people tuned in to watch Meghan Markle walk down the aisle to marry Prince Harry in May 2018? How many people? We have had this quiz before, but anyway, you're doing very well at it. We're nearly over with it. And then we'll do another one. It wasn't 15 million, it wasn't 4 billion, it wasn't 32 million, it wasn't 16 million. It wasn't, well, a lot is an answer, but it's not suitable. Miss Marple now gets a third point, taking her into the lead, 2 billion. With which sport is Blair Kinghorn associated? I'm going to rattle through this one quickly without all the descriptions. Because, who got it first? Matt Luke Ken. Thank you, Matt. Matt Luke Ken. 1 point to you. Well done. Of course, it was rugby union. I won't go through his whole career because I think we need to move on to another quiz in due course. In which city is the Carlisle Hotel situated? The Carlisle Hotel. It's not Carlisle, it's not Oxford, it's not Birmingham, it's not Cardiff, it's not Edinburgh, it's not Belfast, it's not Dudley, it's not San Francisco, it's not Vancouver, it's not Chester, it's not London. Maria gets it with New York. Of course, the Carlisle Hotel is in New York. Ooh. I'm surprised how many of you are so unknowledgeable about the Carlisle Hotel. It's a very famous hotel. Okay, in which county would you find Boggy Bottom? Where is Boggy Bottom located? Not one answer correct yet. It's not Berkshire, it's not Yorkshire, it's not Dorset, it's not Devon, it's not Kent, it's not Hampshire, it's not Dartmoor, which is not a county, it's not Somerset, it's not Cornwall, it's not Oxfordshire or Lancashire. Nope. Nope. It's not Warwickshire, it's not Wiltshire, it's not Woohoo. Woohoo is not a county either, it's not the West Midlands, because that's not a county, that's a region. It's not Lincolnshire, it's not... Jane Hennessy gets the point. Well done, Jane. It's Hertfordshire, yes. Jane Hennessy. Right, a point to you. So you get a point. Okay. I'm not going to go into all the details because I think we're going to do another quiz. Okay. What is celebrated over 3 days at the Goodwood Revival in Sussex? What is celebrated at the Goodwood Revival? I can accept multiple answers here. Matt Grant says cars. Okay, I'll accept Matt Grant. I'll accept cars. I think that's okay for this. It's 40s, 50s, and 60s cars, classic cars, and motor racing. Okay, what did the naval architect Nathaniel Green Hershoff, born 1848, invent? What did he invent? What did he invent? The naval architect Nathaniel Green Hershoff, born 1848, invent. He didn't invent sellotape, no. Compass or steam. He didn't invent torpedoes, no. Expialidocious is close with boats, but I'm not going to accept boat because he didn't invent a boat, did he? He didn't invent a ship. What did he specifically invent? I can't take something, so he didn't invent a hovercraft or a motor. But he did invent something to do with sailing. Right, I think I give 0 points on this one. 0 points awarded. You can't answer my question. He invented the bulb and fin keel, the crosscut sail, the torpedo launching catamaran. So you were close with your torpedo, but you didn't quite get the whole thing. He was known as the Wizard of Bristol. He secretly sold the torpedo boat to the US government. Anyway, so nobody gets that point. Okay, on which issue has J.K. Rowling been very vocal about and found herself in many a spat? Which issue does she get worked up about, old J.K. Rowling? Which issue makes her angry? The first to answer correctly is Matt Grant, so you get the point. Second point for you. It's transgender, so we'll accept that. Given we're going to speed through this and go to the next quiz. Right, okay. Where's my... In which year did Bullseye scorer Tony Green die? Tony Green. He was a scorer. No. Matt Luke Ken. Yeah, a second point for you. It's 2024. Of course, he was involved with my lovely friend Jim Bowen, my father's friend Jim Bowen, who of course was one of our neighbors. He was a school teacher in the local community before he became famous on the Bullseye. A lovely gentleman, a bit of bully, and you could win a caravan, or you could win a speedboat, or you could win a coffee machine, or a soda stream, or whatever. So we loved Bullseye, and Bullseye was a wonderful thing. I love playing darts. I miss my darts board very much, and it's at my friend's house. And one day when I go back to England, I'll have my darts board back. I never had the darts board in Broadstairs. I wish I had. I should have asked them to bring it, but anyway, never mind. One day I'll have the darts board wherever I live, because I love playing darts. And I love Luke Littler. What a wonderful man Luke Littler is. He's revived darts. And then we've got the other Luke, who's also a darts player, and he's very, very successful also. So darts is a fabulous thing. It unites communities. It brings you together in a pub. Even down here in France, they love playing in the Caravelle restaurants in the locality. They love playing a game of darts. So darts, yeah, we're all into darts. So next question. Right, where was I up to? Right, I've done that one. On which issue I've done that? How many people in total were supposedly present at the Roydon, Essex bungalow home of the disgraced, supposedly funny man, because he's not funny, Michael Barrymore, at the time of the rape and murder of Stuart Lubbock? How many people were actually there? The winner immediately is Matt Luke Ken, who gets 3 points. So now you're in joint first. Of course, it was 9 people. 8 lived, and 8 of those people have told lies for the rest of their lives. Shame on them. It is disgraceful. I'm a friend of Sue Homan, lovely lady, who was married to Stuart Lubbock. And, I knew Terry Lubbock, the father, who died before he got justice for his son. Well, there is no justice for his son yet. And this supposed funny man, he got down on his knees and worshipped Jimmy Savile in the Big Brother house. He dressed up as Hitler. He's sick in the head. He rolled around with the convicted criminal racist who attacked my friend Jackie Roth and many others, and called her a Jewish pig. Disgusting woman, Baroness Marie Claire von Alvensleben, or Marie Claire Baroness von Alvensleben, a woman who wrote a book called Absolutely Everything About Everything, and she has no shame. And I've got pictures of those two rolling around on the floor. Michael Barrymore is a total wrong-un. He's one of the worst on the planet, and we want justice for Stuart Lubbock. Stuart Lubbock was a man who had 2 children, and his 2 children have grown up without a father, and it is absolutely reprehensible, and it is wrong. And I will continue to speak out about this story. Okay, it was in 2001, but so what? Those children didn't have a father because of what happened at Michael Barrymore's house, and Michael Barrymore ran away like a little coward that he is. He is a disgusting man, and there were 3 women present. They can't be the killers. So that eliminates 3 out of the 8. So the 5 are the only potential guilty parties, unless they are lying and saying, covering up for somebody who wasn't there. It was an L-shaped bungalow. It was not a mansion. I can go on and on about this case, but I won't tonight. You've already heard it from me before. We'll go on to another quiz in a moment. But anyway, it was a quiz question. So there we are. Right. Okay. Who played Jeremy Bamber? Now, this is another case that I'm very involved in, of course, in the ITV1 adaptation White House Farm. Matt Luke Ken now has a 4th point, so now Matt Luke Ken is definitely in the lead. Of course, it was Freddie Fox, but you spelt his name incorrectly. I do think in future I should not allow incorrect spelling of names. I think in the future, from tomorrow, I will not. If you don't spell the name correctly, you don't get the point. Okay, right? I'm gonna make a mental note. We're not having incorrect spelling anymore. But you got the name, but you spelt it incorrectly. You must spell correctly. Of course, he refused to have any contact, and he was involved with the ghastly Carol Ann Lee, who is a truly nasty piece of work, and I don't like Carol. I'm not a great fan of Carol Ann. She's not a great one of mine. Okay, which 3 large locks are close to Belfast? I'll accept whichever one I get first. There are 3 very large locks close to Loughs, Lough. It's like a loch in Scotland, which is Loch, or a lake in England. It's not Loch Ness. No, it's not Loch Fyne. No. Which one is... I can't believe this. This is a ridiculously easy question. It's not Loch Paddy. It's not the Dreadlock. No, which of these big areas of water are close to Belfast? What a nonsense that you can't answer this. Honestly, you failed on the last question. Right. Okay. Well, you've all failed, so you're all the weakest links. Goodbye. Not having that. There's Lochnia and Loch Strangford and Belfast. So there we are. Really, try harder next time. I'm very disappointed in you, audience, because if you've done this quiz before, because you claim you have, you could have remembered that. It's a very easy question to answer. You moan about my difficult questions, and that would have been one of the most easy questions to answer. Anyway, never mind. Let's move on. Okay, the final question. On which BBC radio channel does Start the Week air on Monday morning? Start the Week. Which channel? And Matt Luke is now the winner because you said Radio 4. So I'm going to put a tick through this. I'm going to write Matt Luke on it. Matt Luke Kent. Okay, so we won't be doing that quiz again. I'm sorry we did it as a repeat. We'll try another quiz. So I'm very sorry that we did a repeat. I think I need a drink first because, quite frankly, that was a bit of a tough one because you didn't do very well, did you? You didn't really. Anyway, here we are. Let's try again. Right, I've not got much ginger ale left, so I'm having whiskey and I'm having a whiskey mac tonight. So this better last me to the end of this quiz, and then we better get on with the next thing. Right, okay. I'm just going to find one that could be from long ago because, right, I don't know if we ever did this quiz because I've written so many of them, but the pages got moved around because of people coming for lunch parties. So this is why I've got another load here. I've got another one here. Oh no, that's got a tick through it. That's good. Right. What did I do with the other one? The bird outside is making a racket, of course. Right, so the ones with the two with the ticket, it's going over there, and they'll go in the folder. They've definitely been done. Now, did I ever ask you about Pete? Did I ever ask you a question about Pete? Can any of you tell me the question about Pete? How many years does it take to form 1 meter of peat? Did I ask you this quiz? Because our pieces of paper have become confused. Right, you've done that quiz, okay. Right, that's done. We're not doing that. So that's gone. Okay, next question. Right, okay. In which year did media baron Alfred Harmsworth play a key role in deposing PM Herbert Asquith? Did I ever ask you that question? But did I ask you that question? You claim I did ask you that. Well, I don't think you don't think so. Okay, right, we'll do this quiz. Well, it doesn't matter. We can do it again. And then the other ones of, I don't know. I do think that you are getting carried away and trying to stop me asking you these quizzes. Anyway, right, okay. We'll get through these and I'll write some more tomorrow because I need to hurry up and write some more. It's a little bit difficult to deal with this. Okay. In which year did media baron... I'm going to start again. We start from now. I'm not accepting any answers prior. I'm just asking from now. So Bo Locke says Trevor, whatever that means. In which year did media baron Alfred Harmsworth play a key role in deposing the Prime Minister Herbert Asquith? I've got Sir Benjamin Slade trying to ring me, as you can see. I'm not going to answer. He's a lovely man, but I can't answer the phone whilst we're doing a quiz. But I wish Sir Benjamin Slade all the best. Miss Marple is the one to get the first point. I better get a new piece of paper. I'm running out of little notepads. I've got to go and steal some from somewhere, or can someone send me some pieces of note? All I want is a little piece of paper like this, because they're good for this quiz. My notepads are no use for this. So Miss Marple gets the first point. Of course, during World War One, his empire included the Daily Mail and the Times. He accounted for 40% of the AM and 45% of the evening circulation. And Winston Churchill said he aspired to exercise a commanding influence on events. And then, of course, the Daily Mail took over the world, didn't it? So, the Daily Mail is the sidebar of shame. And, my friend Richard Kay and my friend Alexis and Richard Eden and all the others I know at the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is a change maker in the world, but it has its good days and it has its bad days, I will say. I think some of the things it does are quite good. I believe in some of its campaigns. What they did against those nasty murderers of that poor boy who was killed by the racists, that was a fabulous campaign they ran on that one. The Daily Mail can be very nasty. And, today they had a horrible load of nonsense about that disgusting woman, Sarah Vine, banging on about her marriage. Please. Do we really need to hear about Sarah Vine's sex life? No, thank you. What a load of rubbish. Daily Mail, please don't keep serializing her gross account of her gross life. She is a disgusting, revolting, repugnant woman, and I don't like her, and I don't like her horrible husband. And she mentioned her husband's spad, Henry. Yeah, well, we all know what went on there, don't we? So, yeah. Shove that up your jumper, Sarah Vine, you gross woman. She's disgusting. Right, next question. Second question. Question number 2. We'll move on. We're sticking with our quiz. Okay, what did a Californian sea lion named Ronan become famous for in 2013? Ronan the sea lion. What did it become famous for? It wasn't juggling. It wasn't clapping. No. It wasn't Sarah Vine creeping. No. No one likes a Sarah Vine creeper. No. It wasn't predicting football. It wasn't female. It wasn't dogging. It wasn't predicting bets. It wasn't typing. It wasn't twerking. It wasn't having a baby. It wasn't escaping. No. It wasn't balancing the ball on its nose. It wasn't eating a great white shark. No. Right. I think you've all failed on this one. Didn't win. Right. Failed. I'm getting a lot of noise from my little seagull outside, so soon we'll have to go outside and check on it. It was better than humans, and it was trained to keep a beat. It was better than humans at tempo, precision, consistency, long marine, and it was at the laboratory in Santa Cruz. So there we are. Anyway, it was a lovely creature. It's a lovely creature. You can hear these nasty birds who are coming to attack the other bird. I don't know what's going on. They better not attack my seagull, my little, what we called it? Mini Thatcher. It's called Mini Thatcher now. So that's its name, Mini Thatcher. So the little bird is called Mini Thatcher. And we're not going to have Mini Thatcher attacked by anybody.
Better check on her.
And it will get a bit more, her or him. Min here thinks it's a her. She doesn't realize it. It doesn't look of any sex at this stage. I think it's more likely male. But anyway, it'll get some dog food later. And it loves the dog food, it's clear. So we'll have to buy some more dog food in the morning. But it's had the milk and the anyway. We're doing a quiz. Okay. Right. Okay. You failed on that question, so that was a weakling. Right. Okay. What does NFL stand for? What does NFL? I'm giving you an easy question now. If you can't answer this one, you're bloody useless. NFL. What does it stand for? Right. Miss Marple gets it again. So 2 points to Miss Marple. The only person who's achieved out of 3 questions is Miss Marple. She's got 2 points. It's the National Football League. Okay. Right. In which American state would you find the rural town of Marfa? The rural town of Marfa. The correct answer, Anne of Cleves. Anne of Cleves. Well done to Anne of Cleves. Is, of course, Texas. So Anne of Cleves gets it correct. Less than 2,000 residents, one of the top art towns in USA. Donald Judd is one of the most famous people associated with it, and it's a very famous art town there. And I learnt a lot about that in reading in the Financial Times. So there you go. I like obscure questions, and well done to Anne of Cleves, who immediately knew. Anne of Cleves, are you from Texas yourself? Perhaps you are. But you are definitely the strongest link. Well done. You were immediately. We're getting a lot of very negative noises from the Seagull. I don't know what we're going to do about this, but I can't do anything about it until I've finished my quiz. Okay, which British businessman and king of clubs launched Maxime's in the former Westbury Hotel at the corner of East 69th Street and Madison Avenue in March 2025? Somebody who I know who was mauled by a tiger, if that gives you a hint, at the Aspinall Zoo when he was a child. So he was his face was mauled. He's behind 5 Hertford Street in London, and his father owned Annabelle's. It wasn't Peter Stringfellow, no. He was a revolting, horrible little rat who talks a load of rubbish about champagne not giving you a headache. He's a total liar. He's dead, but he didn't know what he was talking about. Stringfellow was mad. Stringfellow was a complete loon. No, it wasn't him. Can I repeat the question? Which British businessman and king of clubs launched Maxime's in the former Westbury Hotel at the corner of East 69th Street in New York and Madison Avenue in March 2025? It wasn't Stringfellow. You keep saying the same thing, even though I keep telling you it wasn't Stringfellow. It wasn't Stringfellow. It wasn't Aspinall, no. It wasn't Duncan Bannatyne. It wasn't Boy George. Boy George is an evil man, and you all know how much I loathe and detest Boy George for what he did to my friend. He raped my friend, and he went to prison for that. So, he did. Well, he didn't rape him. He chained him to a radiator. Sorry, he did very bad things to him. He sexually assaulted him. So there we go. It wasn't Michael Barrymore. No, it wasn't Hugh Hefner. Right, okay, you've all failed on that question. So that's another one you failed on. Of course, it was Robin Burley, who, of course, was the son of Annabel Goldsmith, who was, of course, married to Sir Jimmy Goldsmith, the buccaneering businessman who owned Bovril, amongst other things. So he was mauled by a tiger. And anyway, he owns 5 Hertford Street, which is probably London's smartest club, and I've had many lovely dinners there, and I'm lucky to be invited there as a guest, but I'm not a member myself. Maybe one day, if I ever get rich, I will join, but maybe not. They probably wouldn't have me anyway. So there we are. Okay, right, next. So anyway, you failed on that. So at the moment, we've got Miss Marple on 2 points and Anne of Cleves on 1. And we've got 2 questions you've failed on. So that's not very good, is it? Right, and we've got my seagulls getting very upset. And I'm very worried about my poor little seagulls. So we better hurry up with this quiz because I better go and check on it. Okay, what is the meaning in English of Jelanderwagon? Jelanderwagon. What is the meaning in English of a Jelanderwagon? Gelandwagen. What is the meaning of this? No, what is it? What is a Jolanda wagon? I want to know. Yes, it's a German, but I want to know what it is. What do you call it? What kind of car is it? Miss Marple says German car. I'll say, well, what kind of German car? Let's be more specific. It's not a BMW, no. It's not a people carrier. It's not a Volkswagen. It's not a bubble car. It's not a Volkswagen, no. What is a Jolanda wagon? It's not a Panzer. What firm makes the? It's not a sports car. It's not a truck. Okay, Enigma can have the point. It's of course. Enigma can have it. It's a Mercedes Benz. It's a G wagon, of course. A Jolanda wagon. That's its real name. Everybody refers to it as the G class or the G wagon, but its real name is the Jolanda wagon. So there you go. So you've learned something new tonight. So well done to me for educating you. Thank you. Give me a bit of thanks. Thank you, and well done. I'm sorry I've got this horrible pink pen. I don't know where I picked this bloody thing up from. Horrible pen. But it's not very nice pen. Oh, I know where I got this from. Awful pen. Not a good pen. Right. Where is it? Okay. As of 2025, how many Grammy Awards has Sting won? The singer Sting. How many times has he won a Grammy? Sting. It's not 4, it's not 8, it's not 3, it's not 9, it's not 3, it's not 12, it's not 5, it's not 2, it's not 7, it's not 9, it's not 6, it's not 10. It's not 11, it's not 6, it's not 2. He shouldn't have won none. Well, that's not very nice. It's not 14, it's not 20. It's not 16, but you're close. You're getting closer. Right, Miss Marple gets it. So another point to Miss Marple. Miss Marple is now well in the lead with 3 points. It was 17. He's had 100 million records solo. He was in the Police. He's got wines named after his songs called Whimsy, Marketing, Message in a Bottle, all the rest of it. He's the son of a milkman, and he was a hairdresser. He's born in Wallsend, Newcastle upon Tyne. There we go. Sting. And, he was very into tantric sex with his lovely wife, Trudy Styler. Bit curious that. But anyway, I don't know Sting very well, but I have met him, but he's not really my cup of tea. But I'm probably not his cup of tea. They're a very odd pair, but I think they enjoy their life in, Tuscany, and they have their place in Wiltshire, and, they do all the Lake District, like my father. Everybody loves the Lake District, and the quiz I'm writing at the moment, there's a question about how many people go to the Lake District, so you better think about the answer to that. I'm giving you an early hint for that one. But they love it up there, and my father loves it up there. Yeah, so, okay. Right, okay. So, what do Luca Faloni produce? And they're proudly made in Italy. It's not pasta, no. Luca Faloni. What do they produce? It's not beer, it's not olives, it's not wine, it's not shoes. It's not ice cream, no. It's not biscuits, it's not olive oil. You're not doing very well at this quiz, I will say, you lot. It's not handbags. They could produce. Okay. Nobody gets the point. 0 points awarded. They produce fashion. Slow fashion menswear. So nobody gets a point. 0 points awarded. Okay, in which county would you find Happy Bottom? Where is Happy Bottom located? A place called Happy Bottom in England. Where is Happy Bottom? It's not Kent, it's not Devon, it's not Berkshire. Miss Marple gets a 4th point. Oh dear, Miss Marple is now well in the lead. Miss Marple is the only person winning any points in this quiz. Well done to Miss Marple. Of course, it's Dorset. Happy Bottom is located in Dorset. Okay, what is yoga lattes? Give me the definition of yoga lattes. What does it combine? It's a combination of something. Joyce Grove, a new entrant. Well done. We've got some new people coming. It's about time we had some new ones. Of course, it's yoga and Pilates. Yoga lattes. This is a new thing that the supposed, Financial Times readers are supposedly into, I suppose. Okay, in Cockney rhyming slang, returning to my kind of question, what are Lionel Blairs? What is a Lionel Blair? If you're wearing a Lionel Blair, what are you wearing? It's not a chair. Matt Luke Kent gets the point. Well done, Matt. Matt Luke Kent, who was quite successful last time. Matt Luke K, I'll call you. Of course, you're wearing flares. A Lionel Blair is a flare. Yes, there you go. So there you go. Okay. Which French actor starred in Green Card and Cyrano de Bergerac? He's rather controversial at the moment. My Slice of Gardening gets it. Another new entrant. Well done. It's lovely having new entrants. I like to have new entrants to my quizzes. My Slice of Gardening. I like your name. Where did you get a name like that? My mum would love you. She loves the people. Anyone who's into gardening, my mother loves. My mother would actually think you were fabulous. So, of course, it was Gerard Depardieu. So, anyway, well done to you. You're an achiever. So, well done. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Okay. What did doctors often prescribe to anemic women in the 1940s and 1950s? What did they often prescribe to them? A weird thing that they prescribed. It wasn't penicillin, it wasn't beer, but Joyce Grove gets it immediately. Joyce gets the 2nd point, which takes Joyce into 2nd place. Of course, it was Guinness. Guinness was prescribed as a good thing for Guinness is good for you with their advertising campaigns. My goodness, my Guinness. And Guinness was prescribed as a good thing for pregnant women. It was a thing that they should drink. So there we are. Because it gave them iron, obviously. Okay. How many editions of the Cannes Film Festival have there been as of 2025? How many editions? How many times has it run? It's not 100, it's not 7, it's not 109, it's not 99, it's not 59, it's not 70, it's not 60, it's not 88, it's not too many. Well, it may be too many in some people's view. It's not 200, no, it's not 55, it's not Janet Evans. Janet Evans has nothing to do with this. I know you like to bring Janet, and I'm surprised we haven't had Claire Mandel brought up yet, but we haven't had her. But, yep, we have all sorts of people who get brought up. Yep. They're all. We haven't had Anthea Turner yet. No. Yeah, it is Claire Mandel. Oh, right, okay. Well, now we've got 14 of you saying Claire Mandel. We haven't had, oh, of course. Oh, my God. Right, no. Miss Marple says 77. Well, I'll accept Miss Marple's. No, maybe I shouldn't accept Miss Marple because it's not the correct answer. No, we'll want Miss Marple now say he has now got the. Okay, Miss Marple now has the correct answer. It's 78. It was the 78th edition, the Robert De Niro Palme d'Or of a Lifetime Award at the opening ceremony. It's okay. You've got 5 points. You're well in the lead. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay. With which business is Uber associated? Uber. What do Uber primarily do? The first person to answer was Miss Marple. So again, I'm sorry, Miss Marple, you are very quick. It was taxis, of course. Transport. Sorry. I don't know how Miss Marple is so quick, but Miss Marple is very quick at this quiz. Ride hailing or transport would have been another answer. Okay, in which year did Calvin Klein launch the CK1 scent? Calvin Klein launched CK1 scent. It's not loads of answers, but right, okay. Let me look back. No. Right, no. One of you's got it. Right, okay. Flabby. Flabby gets the point. A new person. Flabby is right. It's 1994. So well done to Flabby. Thank you to Flabby. You get a point. Right. Okay. What can I tell you? Haute couture, Empress Eugenie of France, Elizabeth of Austria, popularized. Oh no, I've got the wrong question. Fresh citrusy scent, cocktail of bergamot and green tea with subtle notes of musk and amber, according to Rebecca Rose. There you go. Right, next question. With which industry was Charles Frederick Worth associated with? Charles Frederick Worth. Charles Frederick Worth. Well, no, I think I award 0 point because nobody has been specific enough. Of course, he was involved in fashion, haute couture, the Empress Eugenie of France, Elizabeth of Austria. He popularized crinoline. He invented the princess line cut of dress. He was the first fashion designer. They came to him, he decides, he invents. There we go, etc., etc. So I'm not going to accept anything. Okay, where was the portrait artist? Sorry, not artist. John Singer Sargent born in 1856. Where was John Singer Sargent born? No. It wasn't Bristol. It wasn't Scotland. It wasn't Bolton. It wasn't Peckham. Where was John Singer Sargent born? It wasn't in Britain. No. So you've got the wrong thing. It wasn't Texas. Audrey gets the point. So well done, Audrey. It was, of course, Florence. So he was born in Florence, American family. He was a polyglot. He was wordly, and he was sociable. Okay, and where did the computer game SimCity debut? When did it debut? Which year did SimCity, the computer game, debut? I used to love playing the game SimCity on my computer when I was a child. So there we are. So nope. Miss Marple gets the point. Well, right. Well, Miss Marple has got 7 points out of the possible 20 points. So Miss Marple has been exceptionally good tonight. Wouldn't you agree? Miss Marple, you're an amazing winner. Winner, chicken dinner. So well done to
Very supportive.
No, but you're very, very good at doing this quiz. I don't know whether you've got an encyclopedia in front of you or something, but you're very, very quick. We don't know how anybody answers the questions because obviously we can't observe how the viewers answer our questions. But I spend a lot of time thinking, and I'm going to put a big tick, so we won't be doing this one again. And I'll put Miss Marple 7. There you go. So we won't be doing this one again. I do apologize that we've done another quiz that was done before, but the pages have been a bit confused because we had to move things around on the table, and that was a little confusing. Here is the start of a new quiz. I'm not going to show it to you too much because otherwise you'll know all the answers. Tomorrow I'll finish that off, and we'll do that one tomorrow. I do like to have a mixture of quizzes. I like to have a mixture of questions, and anyway, I hope you enjoy our quizzes. Let me know. Do you think my quizzes are worthwhile or not? If you don't like the quizzes, please tell me. Please tell me if you think they're awful, because maybe some of you do. You don't like my quizzes. It's clearly, tonight, 1, 2, 3, 4 questions were rejected because you didn't understand my questions. So, yeah, you love the quiz. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, now we're done with the quiz. It's time. I think I need a drink. My God, I'm worn out. Hello. I've done all that work. I'm tired. And I'm going to go to bed soon because, quite frankly, it's about time. I don't even have any ginger ale left. So, we'll just have to have whiskey plain. Right. Okay. Have we any more questions on any other topics? Did I see Mount Etna is erupting? I haven't seen it, no, but the problem is I don't have my own computer anymore. So I'm getting a new computer soon, and my friend's going to bring me a new computer when he travels here, which is a wonderful thing. And I'm very much looking forward to having a new computer. That's going to be a change. It will change my life. So anyway, there we go. Right, how is Minnie Thatcher? I don't know. I'll have to go and check on Minnie Thatcher shortly. I can't do anything about it. Do I like Keir Starmer? No. Of course I loathe and detest Keir Starmer. He is the farmer harmer. He is the most evil piece of junk on the planet. But unfortunately, we're not getting rid of him. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't need to go anywhere because he has a huge majority. So everybody who keeps talking about how, we're going to get rid of him. No, you're not. Are you stupid? Were you born in a barn? The man doesn't need to go. He doesn't need to call an election. It's up to him. He can wait up to 5 years. So it's not going to happen, is it? So stop banging on about Keir Starmer. He's just awful. Anyway, that gives me a kick. Very nice. Right. Okay. Have I ever met Mr. Motivator? I'm not going to answer the question about the elephants because I think it's very inappropriate. I don't like your question. I think your question's a bit weird. So don't ask me questions like that. That's not very nice. Why would you ask me that? That's a weird question. Have I ever met Mr. Motivator? No, I don't want to meet Mr. Motivator. No, thank you. So leave it at that. Yeah, elephant and motivator come at the same time. Weird. Well, I don't like the person asking the question about the elephants because I love elephants and they're beautiful creatures. So don't you ask nasty questions. I'm really not very happy with you, whoever you are. Why don't you bog off and get off my channel? I don't want you here. You need a bog off. Go away. Horrible person. Don't be nasty to elephants, you nasty piece of work. You piece of scum, you piece of toe rag. I don't like people who are horrible to elephants. Elephants are the most beautiful creatures. Don't upset me, please. You horrible person. You're trying to, obviously, because that's what you want to do. People like you want to provoke me, I know, and I stupidly react, and I should have just ignored you. But you are a piece of rubbish. Now get off my channel. Get out of here. Out. Right, enough with that one. We don't like them. Elephants don't forget. Yeah, like with that horrible Richard Madeley, who said all elephants are born evil. He's another evil. And I read an article today in the Daily Mail, I think it was, or the Daily Telegraph. It would have been one or the other. With this woman, Rosemary Schrager, and she'd been traveling around on a boat with Richard Madeley. Yeah, and Richard Madeley is the man who goes around saying all elephants are born evil. Elephants are not evil. Richard and Judy are evil. They're the evil buckers in the world. I can't stand that couple. They are bullies, and I love elephants. How could you not love an elephant? What an awful couple they are. The things they've done and the things they've said about so many awful other things as well they've done. They are mental. Richard and Judy should be ashamed of themselves. Elephants, I love them. Let's support the elephant. Let's not support Richard and Judy. And I don't know why this person has come on my channel attacking me, banging on about elephants being nasty. Go away, you horrible person. I don't want you here. Go away. You're as wicked as they are. And I'm being kind now. I could use some more choice words, and I probably should, because to pick on an elephant, what's wrong with you? Are you cuckoo? There's something wrong with your mind. Elephants are beautiful creatures. Leave them alone. Whoever you are, I don't know who you are because you use a pseudonym. You're a pathetic little cowardly specimen. Now, bog off, shove yourself back up your own jumper, and I'm being very, very polite for now. But if you come back, I might say something a bit more choice, but that's what you want. So don't worry. I'm actually just going to ignore you. So get off my channel. If there's any of these moderator people here, please just block that person. I don't want them here. I want them gone. Please block them. It would be more helpful if they were blocked. There's no need to be nasty about elephants. Elephants are beautiful creatures. So cheers to the elephant. Yes, elephants are loyal. They're family orientated. They grieve their dead. Yes. Thank you for your kind words. People who hurt elephants deserve special help. I don't think they deserve special help. I think they deserve a special sort of punishment, actually. If you want to hurt elephants, why would you want to hurt the lovely elephants? Right. Elephants look after their young. Well, I'm going to go and look after our little creature when I can in a moment. And I want to thank you all for your kind participation. We've done 2 hours of this program, and I want to say thank you very, very much for your kind support. And you've been all wonderful. But we don't want anyone attacking elephants. Nastiness is not necessary. If you hate elephants, you've got something wrong with you. Elephants are intelligent, beautiful creatures. You, whoever you are, you're a moron. You belong in a ditch. The elephant is far more intelligent than you, and the elephant is a genius. What are you? You're the village idiot. So get out of our room. We don't want you around. Go away. Whoever you are, just go away. I don't wish death upon anybody or nasty things. I'm not a bully like that. But you are horrible, whoever you are. Leave the lovely elephant alone. We love our elephants. And my audience are with me, I think, mostly. I don't think I don't think there's many of you who hate elephant. Okay, so I'll ask the audience before I go. Do you hate elephants? Are you like Richard Madeley? Do you hate elephants? Which members of my audience hate elephants like Richard Madeley? He believes elephants are evil. So, do you believe, like Richard Madeley, elephants are evil? The answer comes back no, 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 no. I love elephants. Right, okay, there we go. There's loads of no's. I love the elephants. We love animals. Yeah. So Richard Madeley is completely wrong, and so are you, you nasty piece of rubbish. Now get off my channel and don't come back because we don't want you here. Wicked people who want to abuse elephants are not welcome in my orbit. Wouldn't you agree? We love elephants.
Guys, stupid.
Well,
Elephants are the most.
they're most intelligent, beautiful creatures, and they are more intelligent than this foolish man.
I'm more intelligent than Madeley.
And that Madeley is completely mad.
He's a creep.
And Lady Min says he's a creep. And I agree with her. You know, I don't agree with her often, but you know, she's speaking sense for once.
He's the biggest piece of rubbish.
It's disgusting how he speaks. Right. So
What's the point of condemning elephants?
Elephants are lovely things. So anyway, we're going to say thank you very much. And I'm going to say thank you very much for supporting our channel this evening. You've been absolutely wonderful. I'm going to close down the channel so I can go and check on my little creature. And we're going to try and maybe make a film with the little creature tomorrow so we can put it up here on the program. I don't know how we'll do that because I'm not very much used with technology, but the poor little thing might need to have a bit of presence. So we'll find out. So I'm going to go and just check on the little creature and the little bird, and we'll see what happens. So I want to thank you for naming it Minnie Thatcher. So it's now named Minnie Thatcher as a result of the audience vote. So it's Minnie Thatcher, because we don't know whether it's a male or a female. So Minnie Thatcher, you know, it could be Minnie Cheddar or it could be Margaret Thatcher. So thank you for your kindness and your participation. Thank you. You've been wonderful. And good night, good gardening, and sleep tight. Okay. And we hope the bed bugs don't bite. And we hope the bird gets lots of bugs in the night, because the bird needs as many bugs as it can get, because that's what it probably needs to really eat. But I'm going to give it a bit of more dog food. So it's going to have a bit of dog food for the night, and we will talk again tomorrow. So sleep well, take care, and thank you very, 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 very much for your lovely support. And it's been a lovely evening to spend with you, and it's been 2 hours of great pleasure. So thank you for your kindness, friendship, and everything else. So take care. Bye bye.